Copy read aloud, The Village Blacksmith. Under a spreading chestnut tree the village smithy stands. The smith a mighty man is he, with large and sinewy hands, and the muscles of his brawny arms are strong as iron bands. His hair is crisp and black and long, his face is like the tan. His brow is wet with honest sweat, he earns whate'er he can, and looks the whole world in the face, for he owes not any man. Week in, week out, from morn till night, you can hear his bellows blow. You can hear him swing his heavy sledge with measured beat and slow, like a sexton ringing the village bell when the evening sun is low. And children coming home from school look in at the open door. They love to see the flaming forge and hear the bellows roar, and catch the burning sparks that fly like chaff from a threshing floor. He goes on Sunday to the church and sits among his boys. He hears the parson pray and preach. He hears his daughter's voice singing in the village choir, and it makes his heart rejoice. It sounds to him like his mother's voice singing in paradise. He must think of her once more, how in the grave she lies, with his hard, rough hand he wipes a tear from out of his eyes. Toiling and rejoicing, sorrowing, onward through life he goes. Each morning sees some task begun, each evening sees it close. Something attempted, something done, has earned a night's repose. Thanks to thee, my worthy friend, for the lesson thou hast taught. Thus at the flaming forge of life our fortune must be wrought. Thus on his sounding anvil shaped, each burning deed is thought. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Let me see if I can get one more in. I saw a funny one earlier. Here's a funny one. Kind of like it. I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Gelett Burgess. Here's one. 6 limericks. There was an old man with a beard who said, "It's just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nest in my beard." There was an old man who forgot that his tea was excessively hot. When they said, "Let it cool," he answered, "You fool, I shall pour it back into the pot." There was an old man who supposed that the street door was partially closed, but some very large rats ate his coats and his hats, while this futile old gentleman dozed. And there was a young lady whose eyes were unique as to color and size. When she opened them wide, people all turned aside and started away in surprise. There was a young lady whose nose continually prospers and grows. When it grew out of sight, she exclaimed in affright, "Oh, farewell to the end of my nose." There was an old person whose habits induced him to feed upon rabbits. When he'd eaten 18, he turned pretty green, upon which he relinquished those habits. Edward Lear. And here's a funny one. The Pancake Collector. Come visit my pancake collection. It's unique in the civilized world. I have pancakes of every description. Pancakes flaky and fluffy and curled. I have pancakes of various sizes. Pancakes regular, heavy, and light. Underdone pancakes and overdone pancakes, and pancakes done perfectly right. I have pancakes locked up in the closets. I have pancakes on hangers and hooks. They're in bags and in boxes and bureaus and pressed on the pages of books. There are pretty ones sewn in the cushions and tastefully pinned to the drapes. The ceilings are coated with pancakes, and the carpets are covered with crepes. I have pancakes in most of my pockets and concealed in the lining of suits. There are tiny ones stuffed in my mittens and large ones packed in my boots. I have extras of most of my pancakes. I maintain them in rows on these shelves, and if you say nice things about them, you may take a few home for yourselves. I see that you've got to be going. Won't you let yourself out by the door? It's time that I poured out the batter and baked up a few hundred more. Jack Perlutsky. And another silly one. The Owl and the Pussycat. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar, "Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, what a beautiful pussy you are." Pussy said to the owl, "You elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried, but what shall we do for a ring?" They sailed away for a year and a day to land where the bong tree grows, and there in the wood a piggy wig stood with a ring at the end of his nose with a ring at the end of his nose. "Dear pig, are you willing to sell 1 shilling? For 1 shilling your ring," said the piggy, "I will." So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives in the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon, and hand in hand on the edge of the sand they danced by the light of the moon, they danced by the light of the moon. Edward Lear. And I think there's one more around the corner. One more? Oh. All right, let's go back and do one I don't know about. Contrary Mary. You shall ask why Mary was called contrary. Well, this is why, my dear. She planted the most outlandish things in her garden every year. She was always sowing the queerest seed, and when advised to stop, her answer was merely, "No, indeed. Just wait till you see my crop." And here are some of the crops, my child, although not nearly all. Bananarcissus and cumber berries and violet lettuces small, potato tomatoes, melonions rare, and rhubarb berries round, with poor pineapples prickly rough on a little bush close to the ground. She gathered the stuff in mid-July and sent it away to sell, and now you'll see how she earned her name, and how she earned it well. Were the crops hauled off in a farmer's cart? No, not by any means, but in little June buggies and automobiles and dragon-flying machines. Nancy Bird Turner. Probably need to practice that one a few times before I try it again. And how about to end with how to tell wild animals. How to tell wild animals. If ever you should go by chance to the jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you're dying, you'll know it's the Asian lion. Or if sometime when roaring round a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. If strolling forth a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt upon you, you'll know it is a leopard. 'Tis no good to roar with pain, he'll only leap and leap again. If when you're walking round your yard you meet a creature there, who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is the bear. If you have any doubt, I guess he'll give you just one more caress. Though two distinguished beasts of prey a novice might nonplus, the crocodiles you always may tell from hyenas thus. Hyenas come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they're crocodiles. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all, and not a single wing. If there's nothing on the tree, 'tis the chameleon, you see. Carolyn Wells. That's a good one. Poppy, read aloud.